As Ryan says, they're manager of the month for Martin O'Neill. Look, I know if Wilfried Nancy is going to be the man, it's better to just get him in, ASAP. But with Hearts at home and Roma at home, I would have thought it would maybe make more sense to keep O'Neill at least for those games. And I've got to be honest, like I would keep him on for longer, I guess. I'm not saying to the end of the season, but I just think the impact he's had has been so refreshing. He's been like a breath of fresh air. He's got people like Hatati and Maeda, producing their best again. It's been brilliant.
I know. Well, I know what you're saying, but they need to get the new manager in at some point.
I know.
Game after game. But listen, you're right. I mean, Wilfried Nancy is going to get thrown into deep end. Hearts, Roma, and then a cup final. I mean, it's some kind of baptism. Coming to a new job, new country, new club. But as we say, he has to come in. He has to come in at some point, and it's obviously dragged on a while. And although the fans, they'd be gutted to see Martin O'Neill go because he's had this kind of renaissance and he's kind of turned the clock back. No, I think there's the fans want the new man in. They want to see what he's all about. Of course, we can be sitting here in a couple of weeks, and if it doesn't go well for Nancy initially, we think, should they have kept Martin O'Neill a bit longer? But look, they need to get him in at some point. And if Martin O'Neill can get a victory tomorrow night, which I'm sure he will, against Dundee, I think it'll be a good atmosphere tomorrow night. It'll be his last game, and I think the team will put on a performance, put on a show for him. I think they'll win comfortably. It sets it up nicely for Nancy to come in. They'll obviously need to kind of hit the ground running. It's a big game at the weekend, but it's a home game. It could be the chance to go top of the league if they're not there already. I think it's the right time. As you say, Martin O'Neill, 73, he's done brilliantly, but he can't go on forever in this job. I think he's enjoyed his wee stint, and he'll be quite happy to step aside.
Aye. In the comments, we've got comments coming in already. If you want to get involved in the conversation, please let us know your thoughts. Your loyal Muppet says, as a true blue, I can't wait to see O'Neill is gone. He's been too good, but too old now. Martin says, Nancy was head coach at Crewe with a sporting director. Could Celtic do the same with O'Neill? Mark insists you can't leave Nancy hanging. We are not Rangers. Sean says, Man United hired Ollie based on a successful interim spell and still haven't recovered. Long-term success comes from getting in the right long-term candidate. And Mark finally says, big statement win tomorrow for the legend that is Martin O'Neill. I think we can briefly look at Celtic's upcoming fixtures, Ryan. And look, as Scott says, a huge game at the weekend against Hearts, massive game, and then obviously a really tough one against Roma. They're going really strong in Serie A this season, and then the cup final. What is your thoughts? I take on board everything everyone's saying, get the new man in and what have you. I don't know, like the idea of Martin O'Neill lifting another Celtic trophy, or trophy for Celtic rather. I don't know. I would just keep him a bit longer, I think. I don't, as I'm saying this, I don't know until when though. As Scott says, you need to bring the new guy in sometime.
But and that's the thing. I kind of agree with Scott in that sense that you can't just keep delaying it and indefinitely. He's got to come in at some point. And the thing is, there's a bigger picture here. They've got the January transfer window on the horizon as well, and this is he's got the opportunity to kind of put his stamp in the squad. Obviously, he'll be working closely with Paul Tisdale. I know that the Celtic board will be looking to right the wrongs of the summer window as well. So there's a lot on this January transfer window, and obviously Celtic are competing across 4 fronts as well. They're currently second in the Premiership, albeit they could have win a trophy next weekend. But they have aspirations of probably winning a treble again, going far in Europe. That win against Feyenoord was massive and has kind of relit the hopes of progressing in the Europa League. So I think this is the right time, and Wilfried Nancy also has an opportunity to kind of rewrite the narrative surrounding him at the minute. A lot of people may be unconvinced by his credentials. He's come from MLS, Columbus Crew. It's going to be a massive step up joining a club like Celtic. I probably won't know what he's signed up for until he's here. But if he can beat Hearts at the weekend, if that's going to be his first game, and either overtake Hearts to to go top or stretch lead at the top, get a decent result in Europe at home to Roma, and then win, his first piece of silver at Celtic within his first 3 games. That would be a massive, a brilliant start for him, a dream start for him. And it would relieve a lot of pressure as well. So I actually think this is the ideal time for him to come in. I think whether it was deliberate or not, Martin O'Neill, seeing out the 3 difficult away games to St Mirren, Feyenoord and Hibs, the fact that he's negotiated those games and won all 3 of them was massive as well.
That's a fair point.
It's not as if Wilfried Nancy is now going to be walking into a changing room in disarray. Celtic are actually in decent shape now when you compare to how they were at the end of October when Brendan Rodgers left. Obviously, the fans and the board are at loggerheads at the minute, but if you actually look at the team and the way they're playing in the form, he's walking into a good dressing room there full of confidence, and yes, it's a big opportunity for him. I think it's the ideal period for him to be coming in. Martin O'Neill's done an amazing job. He's definitely enhanced his legacy at Celtic, and as I say, I don't think there's any other man or figure that could have come in at that point in time and do the job that Martin O'Neill's done. So he'll be, he's just enhanced his legacy by doing that.
Right. I totally agree. And that's the great thing about the O'Neill appointment, Daniel. When you think about when managers go and an interim boss comes in, it's usually maybe his assistant or another coach or somebody coming for the academy. You think even at Rangers this season, like Stephen Smith coming in for a game. No, Celtic were so lucky to have Martin O'Neill available and ready to come into that gig